So, $100,000 per person would cost the government $4 trillion. A $150,000 payment per descendant would cost the government $6 trillion. Compared to all past reparations payments, a cash value $250,000 per person would only be a slap on the wrist for multiple generations of life and labor with zero compensation. Not to mention any horrors, tortures, and traumas inflicted on the enslaved. Starting at $250,000 minimum per descendant would cost the government $10 trillion. For frame of reference, federal government spending totaled approximately $7 trillion for the year 2025, which was high enough to add an almost $2 trillion deficit to U.S. debt. For even further context, Holocaust survivors were distributed over $530 million by the Claims Conference in 2025 alone. So, if we break down the $250,000 payment into 5 yearly payments of $50,000 per year per person, it would still cost the government $2 trillion per year. This cash value payment would account for any wrongdoing stemming from slavery and emancipation, including but not limited to redlining, Jim Crow, medical malpractices, etc. Again, slavery affected generations of individuals and still affects lives today. Compared to past reparations for events that only lasted for a few years, or even one lifetime, $250,000 per person would be the bare minimum acceptable payment. The only truly acceptable compensation for generations of forced labor and the subsequent subjugation of a people would be generations of free living. Healthcare, housing, education, etc. would have to be free for generations just as the labor provided was. As you've probably figured out by now, the higher the reparations allocation per capita, the less affordable restitution becomes. At $400,000, the U.S. would spend $16 trillion, almost 3 times our entire annual budget. At $500,000, the government would have to spend $20 trillion on reparations alone. If this doesn't already seem like an impossible task, consider the fact that the black population has grown 33% since the year 2000, from 36.2 million to 48 million, meaning the total monetary cost of reparations increases by the year. Taking all of this into consideration, the possibility of reparations becomes less practical by the day.